What is up? What is up? What's going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Let me know if you guys can hear me well. Tomorrow, I'm actually gonna get the mic situation fixed tomorrow, or hopefully. The reason why I have my mic sitting on my desk because my base that connects to my table, it broke, I guess, for the boomstick, so I had to get another one. I just didn't get one for a while. The mic will sound a lot better hopefully by tomorrow, so I'm hoping. Yeah, I mean, we got some things to talk about today. Howard Eskin had some news that came out today regarding the contract with Haason Reddick, and it looked like, and I said in my video this morning that I'm not done with this until I see this contract, see like why did the Eagles back out of this, or why didn't the deal go through, and why the compensation was so low. It looks like Howard Eskin said that from his inside sources. It looks like that he heard that the deal was definitely over $20 each, which wouldn't shock me at all. Wouldn't shock me whatsoever. So, which I think is all right. It is what it is. I mean, he chased the money, and that's all that really happened. So that's where we're kind of at in this stage. Blankenship had his press conference, and I think I don't know how some of you guys feel about Blankenship as a safety in general. I honestly don't know if Reed is a starting safety in the league. Okay, the Eagles have been so bad at safety. He's just been a bright light at that position, and I think fans have fallen in love with him a little too much. I think he's solid as a role-playing safety. You know what I mean? But I'm glad he's here for another year. I'm glad that they'll have more depth at safety. I don't think that he is the number one move for the Eagles. I feel like even one of the NFL reporters said there's still a few free agents out there, and they've already named again Justin Simmons as the highest candidate for the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously with the Vic Fangio connection, playing in the system. He's a leader. He's a hybrid player. He just works out in the end for this team. So kind of just wanted to go over that real quick. And, I made a video this morning discussing on, maybe the Eagles don't go defensive line. Maybe they don't go corner and defensive line. Maybe they go a totally different position. Maybe they go offensive line. Maybe they go, maybe they go tight end. Maybe they do something different. I don't know. I mean, most of the news I am hearing within the draft itself is Cooper DeJean. I swear to God, I've heard Cooper. The one name I've been hearing nonstop is the Eagles love Cooper DeJean. The Eagles are in love with him, and they apparently, I don't know if they must have already had the pre-draft visit, I would have to say, by this time, but it looks like they are just in love with this guy, and we'll see what happens. But usually when I hear a name way too much, I feel like it's not going to be that pick. So we have less than a month away till the draft. So we'll see what happens. It'll be, the time will come. We will get our answers for it. But I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. We got Artificial on the track. What's going on, man? We got Eagles. We got Killer Ghost. Vinny, what's going on, dude? What's going on, guys? Philly Legend, what's going on? Philly Legend 22 ASMR says, what does Mitchell give you over DeJean? Who do you prefer? I mean, it really depends on what the Eagles want. I think Quinion Mitchell will be the higher pick in this draft, but he's set as a pure outside corner for us, where when it comes to DeJean, I think he's got a more hybrid system. He could play inside, he could play outside. So if the Eagles feel like they want to play him at nickel, just say, because, Bradberry's not moved yet, and nickel, I think, is wide open right now, unless Tyler Hall is starting, which I doubt it. I know Isaiah Rodgers is coming into the mix right now. So I feel like, DeJean just has, I guess there's a more value type side to him. His coverage is good. Off-ball coverage is great. Tackling is great. He gives really good run support. And he's real smooth in transition with his body on back end coverage, which is great. So I think the value for the scheme, are you talking best player available? In my opinion, I think it would be Quinion Mitchell if he was purely going to be on the outside. But since Bradberry is still here, I think Cooper DeJean would be the guy for you for this scheme. So because you could throw him in anywhere. So God forbid, like, he's starting outside corner and like someone gets hurt at inside, you can always move him. You know what I mean? You can always move him around, which is a great thing. I think that's high value for the scheme, but I just don't want to go close to the belt towards the scheme. I want to go towards the best player available in this draft, and that is it. I don't want to get analytical with some of these picks, and that's where, things come into motion with certain things, so we'll see what happens. But it's a good question, though. Good question, no doubt. Go on, Sean. Eagle says, I feel like the cornerback position, either draft Kool-Aid McKinstry or Quinion Mitchell, any of those guys would be great. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, but is corner actually the pick, though? I don't know if cornerback's going to be the pick. If Bradberry's still here, he's starting. I mean, I would have to say that, right? There's no post-June designation. And look, doesn't mean they can't move him after the draft. They can't move, you know what I mean? But I think out of respect for Bradberry, they wouldn't just wait till after the draft to get this done. Avonte Maddox got released. They could have saved $7.1 million post-June cut, but they let him go early. They saved $2 million, and that was pretty much it. So that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at. What's going on, Chris? I don't watch wrestling, unfortunately. I know it's going to be in Philadelphia this year, which is great. Come on, Speedy. Daquan says Reed's a good role player. No, I agree with that. I just don't. I think people are thinking he's like too good. I don't think Reed Blankenship is the best safety we've ever had, in Philadelphia, or at least one of the best safeties. I think he's been a good player in a bad group for the last couple of years, unfortunately. I mean, he, at his press conference, he talked about the getting Chauncey back into this group, and he says that we need his attitude. And I like that, how players are kind of looking up to Chauncey to come in and really take control over everything. Just having that type of attitude around this team, accountability, making sure guys are accountable. And you got a guy in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson that's got that Mamba mentality, man. That guy just wants greatness every time they step on the field and won't accept anything less than that, So it's a great thing. Great thing. Tommy 5, what's going on, man? He said, what up, Joey? I was playing around with some draft ideas. Imagine we drafted Bowers and one of Adonai, Ladd, Worthy, our offense would be like Madden. Yeah, that is true. I think they'll get a receiver after the first round. With Paris Campbell right now, I don't think being a promise at the starting spot. And I think when it comes to DeVonta Parker's only he costs 1.2 for the year. So, and he's 31 years old. So I think there's okay depth right now. So you would have if all these guys made it, it would be 5 receivers as of right now, including DeVonta Smith and AJ Brown. I think they would still get another receiver. So I wonder if they're going to get, a pure wide receiver 3 or a bigger receiver with speed that could take over AJ Brown's spot in a couple years. So it's going to be interesting, but I would definitely, I would be not mostly shocked, but I would think that'd be a shocking move for a lot of fans if the Eagles actually went Brock Bowers in this draft, and takes a lot of his game out of Gronkowski. And I think with a guy like that, with his size and where what he could do on the field, the separation, and loves contact. 12-man personnel with Brock Bowers would be amazing. I think it's more of a combination what you could do. So Goedert's 28 years old, so I wouldn't mind the idea of that. Like I said, you're going to have to find a tight end too, or a starting tight end sooner or later. How many more years does Goddard have? I don't know. I mean, I think he could still play for a few more years. I don't think like even in a couple of years he'll be, but his injuries have gotten the best of him. He's been out like, he's always missing 4 to 5 games a year, almost every year. And there's really nobody else to really look back on. Chris says Blankenship is a great role player, fantastic backup. We need another veteran safety. Simmons or Blackman will sign here. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think they're drafting safety high this year. Now you're locked in with Chauncey Gardner. You're locked in with Reed Blankenship for the next few years, which is good. You know what I mean? So you got 2 guys that are going to be back there. Come on, Greg. Eagles says Jermaine Burton, wide receiver from Alabama, would be a nice pickup, develop, and then potentially take AJ spot when he leaves. We'll see. Chris says Brock Bowers has been a player how he loves and wants. If he drops to the teens, how he will draft him. We'll see. It wouldn't shock me. Kellen Moore gets another weapon. And just imagine like the different combinations you could do with this offense with Brock Bowers. And I mean, it's crazy. It's insane, man. Ryan said, I think the pick should be corner. For me, it makes the most sense long term. 2 aging cornerbacks already. Slay is off injury to get our corner now. I know, but you're gonna draft a guy in the first round to redshirt. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the only issue I have with drafting an offensive lineman besides, especially in the first round, an offensive lineman besides, Powers from Oregon, or you're gonna go a whole different direction because you draft a tackle, he's gonna be sitting for a year. Draft anybody else, they're gonna be sitting, and that's the issue I have. I don't mind them going offensive line in the first round. The problem is like you don't get anything but that starting center. Forget it. Then the guy's gonna be sitting there, and I feel like it's just a waste. Total waste. There's a Tommy. If I said Bowers will get stronger, he'll be a competent blocker just like Ertz. Jacob says, Joe, did you like the Kenny Pickett trade? I didn't mind that. I mean, look, you swapped the third for a fourth. You dropped 22 spots in the draft from the second, like I said, the number 3, the 3rd round pick to the 4th round pick. So, not really. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Kenny Pickett's going to do much of anything. It's a guy that I think honestly, this is a guy that they want, and he's dirt cheap. This is a guy that they're going to want, that they're going to. I think they're going to produce next couple years. I think they'll produce him the next couple years, flip him for some draft capital. I think that's what they're going to try to do. So we're going to hope that Kenny Pickett has a good offseason, good preseason, like let his stock go up. And then God knows, like during a trade deadline, if a team needs a quarterback or something like that, yeah, I mean, you can always trade a guy like that. I mean, for a mid-round pick or later than that, we'll see what happens. Gotta remember too, the new rule for quarterbacks this year on game day is that you can actually dress a 3rd quarterback every single game. Will not affect your roster spot at all for game day. So now the new rule is you could dress up not only starter to the backup, but now you can dress up a 3rd quarterback on game day now. Raj says, after hearing Reddick speak years, I hate to trade a million times more. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he wants to be there. In my opinion, I don't think he wants to be there. I think part of it is, I don't think he wanted to leave at all. I think this really just came down to what the Eagles can do. And I think he was just stuck on a specific figure and just couldn't get out of it. And that was pretty much about it. You know, but I think when you talk about a position in the draft way too much at this point, I just feel like it's not going to be the pick, because I feel like when it's talked about too much, it's what everybody wants you to think. You know, Chris, if a top 3 O lineman is there at say 15, Howie will move up and take him. Howie won't lose one of our seconds moving up. Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I mean, I don't think you'll lose a second round pick by moving up a few spots in the first round. No, I don't think so. If Jackson Powers is available at like 14, 15, which I don't know if he will, but if he is, it wouldn't shock me, to be honest with you, because they take more. That's a guy that will be here for 12 plus years with the Eagles. I mean, then you don't know. Then you don't know what they're going to do. I mean, Tyler Steen's a second round pick, so they have to do something with him. So if they decide like, hey, let's draft Jackson Powers, let's keep Jurgens at guard, and we need to try to do something with Tyler Steen into his second year, which means they should cross train him to right tackle. If he's already from a left tackle at Alabama to a right guard with the Eagles, they should at least try to put him at right tackle then. Put him on the other side. You know what I mean? And cross-train him. And then you have Matt Hennessy as a really good depth piece that can play center and guard. You know what I mean? So Jackson Powers, it wouldn't, like I said, it wouldn't shock me because that is the best offensive lineman in this draft. That guy is a bulldozer. That guy has got an edge to him. He is already playing at, I mean, he is so far ahead of so many players in this draft. Yes, I know the offensive line. I know it's not the sexy pick. It's not sexy at all getting an offensive lineman. And people, well, let me tell you something. The reason why the offensive line has been good the way it is for years is because Howie Roseman puts a lot of worth into the trenches. And a lot of teams don't do that. A lot of teams don't do it. And obviously, Jeff Stoutland, do they have to reach for an offensive lineman in the first round? No, but if they want, like, hey, we feel a lot better with Jackson Powers coming in. We talked to Jurgens saying, hey, and like if we draft Jackson Powers, Jurgens will play at right guard and he's fine with that. And you know what I mean? It's another guy you don't have to pay for 5 years. So Land Dickerson just got paid. Malaz's gonna be due a contract. So it's gonna be interesting. It'll be interesting. Chris Dahl with the super chat. Thank you so much for where the hell did my hold on. My chat's going. All right, hold on. I have to put my chat back up. I'll go to the super chats in this. I don't know what the hell just happened. I was switching screens and something happened. I don't know what happened. Let me put this in. I guess when I was trying to pull a screen somewhere else, I think it happened. All right, we're good. I think because this is yeah. Hold on. Sorry guys, I'm just a fucking mess today. You have one of those days where you're just like, damn, this sucks. So we're just gonna play this out real Sorry. I want to go put Twitter on my other screen, and that happened. Sorry. All right, we're good. we're good to go. Get myself ready here. All right, first super chat. Did I read that yet? I don't know if I read it. Chris Dog, thank you so much, man. Yo, Joey, what up? It says WrestleMania season this weekend at Lincoln. I don't know when the date is. Somebody in the chat would probably know before I did. To be honest with you, I honestly I don't watch wrestling, so I have no clue at all. I have no clue at all. Appreciate supers. Nifty 350. What's going on? I still think we take DeJean. I don't know because they're talking about him way too much, and the Eagles absolutely love him and. They might like him a lot. I mean, there's a chance they might like him a lot, so we'll see. But I think there's a chance, sure. But because they're talking about him so much, I just don't know at this point. Get through the super chat. Thank you so much. I still think they should take a cornerback. The only one who could be the future is Ringo, and he's half a safety. Yeah, I mean, Ringo, I mean, we talked about how many times did we talk about Avonte Maddox going to safety and we never done it. I don't think they'll ever look at Keely Ringo as, fortunately. I think he would be a great contact safety for the Eagles, you know. I think he'd be an in the box type guy. Unfortunately, I just don't see it happening. You know, so I think when it comes down to Keely Ringo, I think he'll have, obviously, with another offseason under his belt, he'll play a lot better. Could potentially be the number 2 with the Eagles. We'll see after Slay leaves, and hopefully the Eagles get their number 1 between this year and next year. I just don't see a corner being drafted in the first round because they're filled at both those spots. So DeJean obviously makes more sense because he's more of a hybrid guy that can move at a couple positions and plays really well. And I guess they value him more for the scheme, you know, but I'm taking best player available regardless, but they're talking about him way too much at this point. Way too much. Appreciate the supers, guys. Dynasty Cooper Beebe, Jackson Powers Johnson, Graham Barton, Zach Zinter, Marius Mims, Talisa Fuaga are guys who can help the O-line. One of them will be here in the second round. Well, hey, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't think they have to reach too far unless they like Juergens at guard and Tyler Steen. They want to cross train him the right tackle. And they want to get a guy like Jackson Powers in the building. They want to not reach for him. I don't think it's a reach at all. I think you're getting, if he drops to 15, I think it's very good value because he should be a top 10 pick this year. I don't see why not, you know, but Chris Zinner and Beebe will be there at 120. Okay. Yeah, Carson Wentz is a new backup for Patrick Mahomes now. I guess he's going to try to get an easy ring as a backup again. I don't know, man. It's just his career is almost done with. I mean, he's nothing more than a backup that's never going to play. And that's it. And trust me, the last thing I want to see is Carson Wentz on new heights with fucking Jason Kelce. Is the last thing I want to fucking see. Here out says, why would we ever bring Wentz back here? That would be oh God. I would have the biggest rant, and I would have a 5-6 hour rant. You've seen all my Carson Wentz videos over the years. You've seen them. Fabio, what's going on, dude? He says, what's up with DeVonta's contract extended? I think people need to relax with this, like DeVonta Smith. They're not extending him. We're good, man. The news that we got like a week or two ago is DeVonta Smith's camp is fine. Like they're working on stuff right now, and it's gonna happen. It could happen before training camp. It could happen by the season starting. I think we just need to chill out a little bit. You know, we'll be all right. I think we're fine. I think we're perfectly fine. You know, I think the contract will get done. I'm not worried about it too much. Yeah, Matt Corral's in the UFL. Yeah, the first touchdown in the UFL was Matt Corral to Dion Kane, I think. So me and Philly value Matt Corral so much. So we're going to honor him this year again for the draft. He says Reed is one person to coach him up. If he could do it, nobody can. It has nothing to do with coaching Carson Wentz up. It has nothing. It's his mental. He's got a mental thing going on. Honestly, I think part of it is mental. I think part of it is I don't think he's been the same after that concussion. I think there are people that get concussions, and this is true. I know football players get concussions. When you get a really bad concussion, it changes how your body works and how it used to work. And there was an interview with a girl that went on radio after that game, that wild card game against Seattle. I went to that. I actually went to Philly for that game. There was a woman that went on 94 WIP, and she's like, I was one of the best athletes. I was one of the top athletes in the state, and she must have, I think it was high school or college or something. And she said, sometimes when you get these really bad, I had a really bad concussion to the point where I couldn't throw the ball anymore. I didn't know my my nervous system wasn't the same. I'm telling you, like, he hasn't been the same. And it could be more than just, he mentally just couldn't, Jalen Hurts was in his head and he couldn't, I think it was more than that. I think there was a lot more serious that went on about it. Well, I think we'll be all right. That'll never happen with us. We'll never bring that guy back. No, no, no. Alex, if you give Wentz this team that Hurts has been given guaranteed, we would have won a Super Bowl. No. That guy's not a team player, dude. I'm not getting into Carson Wentz this whole fucking stream, so if that's what we're doing, it's not happening. So I'm sorry, but I don't care. He signed with the Chiefs. That's it. Like, that's the dude. Like, other than that, I don't care. Good luck to him in his career. I just don't care. Shut up about D. Smith's contract. Obviously, according to the draft chart, the late second round pick will get you to around 13-ish. That's fine. I mean, that's enough. I don't think you're picking two guys in the first round, second round anyway. We got to go get a corner at 22. Don't see elite corner talent in the second round, but O-line talent is massive in the draft. We can easily get an elite talent in the second round. Yeah, I believe that. I don't think they have to go after a first round, a guy in the first round. And, unless it's Jackson Powers and they really want a center badly and they feel like, I understand Cam should be the starting center this year. I mean, that was the plan. I mean, Dickerson was the plan being at center, and then they changed their mind. And then it's, so they've been trying to find, they've already had a Jason Kelsey replacement turning into another position that Landon Dickerson's, our left side of the line has been strong as hell, no doubt. And he says, people need to chill out about Smitty's extension. Yeah, I mean, people, it's like I get it. So the new news that we did find out about the money for Haason Reddick. Now that $14.5 million, that actually is not going to be going to the Eagles this year. The Eagles are going to save like $1.5 million. They pay off the roster bonus. So that 14.5 the Eagles are getting in 25, not 24. So the Eagles still have over $30 million in cap space right now, 31, 32 million, whatever it was. Reed's contract is 3.9 fully guaranteed this year and next year combined. I mean, he's cheaper than dog shit. So we didn't talk about the Reed extension really, but yeah, so Reed's only 3.9 fully guaranteed this year, next year combined. He can make up to $1.3 million if he, plays over a certain amount of snaps. So if he gets like 60%, 80%, 100% of the snaps, if he gets a Pro Bowl, he gets an extra $500,000. So there are a lot of incentives in these deals. Says Cowboys have more roles to fill than they do draft picks. So that's what happens when you don't know how to move money around. You have a lot of there's contracts you can't hold on to together as a group because you're just bad at numbers. I think they've really been bad at numbers. They got one player that's that's $59 million against the cap and Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? The Cowboys have to ace this draft. They have to ace it. If they don't, they're in trouble. They got to pay. Dak will from what it looks like, Dak's not going to be with the Cowboys by the end of this year. I doubt it. We'll see, but I highly doubt it. They got to pay Micah Parsons as well. And Micah Parsons, we're going to find out if he actually wants to stay in Dallas. Because if Dallas is starting to decline now, the last few years, they've had time and time again, they've had, even with Amari Cooper, they had those few years they had a chance to win a Super Bowl. The last few years, even the last couple years, with the roster they've had, the defense they had with Dan Quinn, they've had their shot, a few times already, but Monson Philip yelling about B. John Robinson getting drafted by the Eagles for months is far worse than Matt Corral. Why is that worse? That's not worse. He was the third best player on the draft board, guys. There's no way if Carter was taken, you have Will Anderson. If Carter was taken, I believe, and 100%, I believe Bijan would have been a Philadelphia Eagle. 100%. No doubt. I think it would have happened. Steve says it's in Devontae's best interest to allow at least Jefferson to sign first to set the market value. That's what he's waiting for. Colin says Smith is in no rush to do contract, waiting to see what Jefferson and others will get. I guess that's what they're doing. So the contract on Spot Track, I guess, was like, and I know the Eagles are going to throw him more money than that, but I thought it was like 4 years, 91 million fully guaranteed. Like what, 20? Which I think that's way too low. Just give him a blank check and let him just write it out himself. I mean, he deserves it. You know, like there's nothing to complain about with Avonte. There's nothing to complain about. You know. Demetrius, is Justin Simmons Philadelphia still possible, or do you think they're waiting to see what they do in the draft? No, I think it is a big possibility. Like, we haven't heard anything. I mean, no other teams know nothing during this Justin Simmons dilemma. I mean, we've heard absolutely nothing from that side of it. Justin Simmons could be an after the draft type signing. Some of these veterans want to make sure they have a starting spot, and some of them want to. Some of these vets like to wait after the draft as well, because then these teams can fill out their rosters, and then they can go out and start searching again on where they can get a starting job somewhere. I don't think the Eagles are drafting a safety high. I could be wrong, but I think they are. I think Justin Simmons, if I'm not hearing any news on him going anywhere else, and more days are going by where nothing is happening, not one bit of news, I feel like there's more likely a big chance he comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Shakes Joe, is there anything? Michael says, is there anything going on? I heard they might be interested in Gilmore. No, I mean, I don't see them going after trading for a corner, going after a veteran free agent corner. I mean, there's nothing that's telling us why they should go after a corner right now. Even in the draft, there's nothing telling you. Unless the Eagles are fine with redshirting a guy and wasting a whole year out of that pick. Chris Del Rio says, would be surprised if we go wide receiver or tight end in the first round. This D can't be fixed in 1 year. Race every team to race every team to 40. I get it. You can't fit. You can't get it all done in the draft. You can't do it in one off season. Like, you can't get like I swear, free agency. Like, I think Eagle fans expect them to sign a all pro to every position. It just can't happen. You can't have perfect depth at every position either. After the draft, you'll sign some 1 year signings. Some of these undrafted free agents. The Eagles have hit on a few of those guys too the last good a while, actually. They've gotten some good players out of that. But yeah, we've always talked about the Eagles getting a receiver in the first round, and I think they need to add more firepower regardless. They need a wide receiver 3. Now you got Saquon Barkley in the building. So wide receiver 3 is probably the biggest weakness offensively besides offensive line depth. Right guard will figure itself out with Tyler Steen, Matt Hennessy, and regardless of see who they're going to get in this draft and what they're going to pick up there. Basically, can't wait to see your mock draft streams just to see if we pick the same players. I mean, who knows? I mean, it'll probably be different, but we'll have some streams soon. How's Micah Parsons going to come home to Philly? We know this. Honestly, here's a pitch, Micah. You don't longer have to go up against your daddy, Lane Johnson. You're a lot of. The Eagles haven't drafted a running back since the 80s. That's why it's never going to happen. You mean in the first round? I mean, they have drafted running backs. Drafted a running back in the second round. What, 9? Miles Sanders. Reese says, with AJ Brown here, Smitty's still a number 2 wide receiver taking on a weaker I mean, yeah, it's that's what it. Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, I think both of them are number ones. But when you put it, what are defenses looking at with the Eagles' offense? Number one person that they have to defend, definitely AJ Brown. They look at AJ Brown before DeVonta Smith, but still, you're putting a weaker cornerback on DeVonta Smith. Still a mismatch. Miles says, "Thanks, man." Because when I heard that, I got scared. Gilmore's good and all, but he's older and he's busted his up last year. I either want a tight end or a big wideout. So some Eagles fans are impatient. Some are even calling him Marcus Smith 2.0. Oh, that's Eagles. They say, "Hey Shakes, have you done any mock drafts? I've found that we I have found that we either getting elite O line or elite cornerback. Which one we want?" What I want is a cornerback, and I want Bradberry to get cut. But from what it's looking like, it doesn't look like it's happening. Fortunately, I'd be on the Quinion Mitchell train. I'd be on. I'd get Terron Arnold. I get McKinstry if they had a chance. Like I have no issue. Like I'm a big fan of Nate Wiggins from Clemson, so I have a lot of faith in what they could do. They just haven't made him. They haven't. If I see a move for Bradberry, if I see Bradberry getting moved or post June, he's going to get extended post June designation. They take his dead cap, they spread it out. Then there's a bigger chance they could do something. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen. It's obviously annoying because I don't know. Bradberry was successful under a good pass rush and under Vic Fangio as a consultant. So Chris says, "Why does everyone think this defense is going to be terrible last year? Will never happen again. Our coaching alone will change for the better. Our defense is pretty talented." I mean, we've replaced a lot of people, and we have a new defensive coordinator now, best for the scheme. And I know I don't love the scheme, but it is what it is. And the Eagles are going to have minicamp on April 15th. April 15th, guys, we got minicamp back. The Eagles brought minicamp back. First time in a few years. Eagles never did have you skip it. They were one of 3 teams that doesn't do minicamp because of you're not gonna have full pads on. They're gonna be going out, the guys are just gonna be lightly doing things. But getting these guys in the building together and doing things, that's what we need right now. Because people always looking to dumbass narrative. Oh, that's social media, dude. Like I feel like everything that I like about this team, people always have to step on it or trash it. And I get it. Like I respect everybody's opinion on it, but I feel like anything the Eagles do is just not good enough, or this defense is going to be completely horrible, or you're not going to give certain players a chance this year. Like what happens. Oh gosh, dang, where Isaiah Simmons think he'd be a perfect Fangio fit. Should pair him with Edgar and Cooper. Yeah, I mean nothing on Isaiah Simmons yet. I don't know where he's going. He's still out there. Isaiah Simmons, Justin Simmons, Julian Blackman's still out there. So we will find out. We will. As long as our offense continues to grow, score 35 points a game, it's not going to matter if our defense is 15th ranked. We'll win the majority of our games. That is true. Your defense just has to be somewhat productive. Okay, your defense just can be average. But if our offense isn't, I'm not saying you got to kill teams every single game. Okay, but we didn't have one dominant game last year. Our defense wasn't great. Okay. But we didn't dominate one game offensively. That really hurt us. Hence why we were winning ugly so many times last year. It's got to change. It has got to change. I mean, it's Shakes. I really think that Howie might resign Brown. I think he might give us a discount. He loves it here. What he says. Yeah, I don't know. I think the total opposite, and I don't know. Like, I don't know if AJ Brown could picture himself playing anywhere else, but he might have to. If his price is going to go up even more. I mean, honestly, I feel like AJ Brown could reset the market. he might reset the wide receiver market in a couple years. So we'll see. You know, that's why I would draft a receiver this year after the first round, produce that guy to be your future number 2 or 1 or whatever. You know, like I'm not even talking like a Ladd or like some of these other like Ricky Purcell or some of these other smaller receivers as a pure wide receiver 3. I'm talking like Adonai Mitchell or getting a guy like Xavier Legette and putting them at wide receiver 3. And I'm not saying because they have good speed, big body, big speed guys. You know, and potentially after this year could be a replacement. Mark, so what up, Joey? I'm kind of glad that Reddick drama is over. Thanks for the memories, Haason. I wish you well in the future. Yeah, unfortunately, like Howard Eskin did say today that he has inside news that Reddick got paid over $20 million. The deal isn't done in New York yet. Like, how is this deal not done for Reddick yet? Like, he goes there and the deal, it's been a few days. Still, the deal is still not done. He hasn't even signed his deal yet. I don't think. You know, but that's a whole nother thing. Demetrius, I wouldn't mind another tight end, especially pass catching one. Seems like the Dallas is out or tight end production drops. It does. And now you lost Jack Stahl to the Giants. You're down to Calcaterra that has injury, it's shoulder, it's toe, it's pectoral, it's this, it's that, it's concussion after concussion because bad. And you trade for Albert O last year and did nothing with him this year. So you're pretty hammered down at tight end right now. Brown says, "Hey there, Shakes. Are you planning on doing any more safety reaction videos? I want to see how you feel about Javon Bullard." Yeah, I have. I'm actually. Well, that's weird because I have him on my list the next couple days. So you're gonna see a Javon Bullard draft highlight reaction. If you guys haven't checked out either, besides 234 the chat, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the stream if you guys have it. And by the way, the Chiefs have agreed to terms with former first-round pick Clyde Edwards-Helaire on a 1-year deal. He's coming back to Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, if you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Cover the Eagles every single day. If you guys haven't liked the stream, please like the stream up. Thank you so much for coming in today. And if you guys haven't picked up a membership for some of the extra content, draft highlight reaction shift, there's some content that is copyrighted, but it doesn't matter. Check out the memberships to join up. I'll put the link in the chat as well. Doesn't matter what tier, it's mostly for support, and there's been content every single day. So there's more content if you want to check it out for some of the draft highlight reactions and stuff like that. So definitely check some of that out and become a member if you guys have it. But not only for the draft, but we're gonna have some extra content throughout the off season, the rest of the off season, and the regular season as well. I'm cooking up some new things with some content. So I was glad they bring it back. It helps new players in the NFL. Chris says, Vig is also very savvy. He'll make sure he's not predictable. It is a predictable defense at times, but you know he's gotten pressures with his defenses, softball defenses, which is crazy. Jade says, people are entitled to their opinion. People don't have to like what you like or I like. And please stop with our defense. Our defense font have to be good talk. That shit loses a defense. Well, no, I mean, theoretically, you don't have to have the number 1 defense to get to a fucking Super Bowl. You really don't. You need an average defense or a little bit better than that just to do just enough. Okay. Yeah, you like when your defense gets turnovers and make stops, more consistent. Sure. But your offense, man, like you can't have an offense. Well, how much did this offense average last year? 25 to 27 points. I mean, maybe that. And it's horrible. Two 1,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard running backs, second straight year in a row, and those are the numbers you put up. You know. Chris says Evan Bishop, I believe that could be planned by Reddick. Planned by Reddick and the Eagles. That would be epic. Well, Mia says Shakes. Oh no, don't get me wrong. We definitely need to draft a big body wideout and need to find a way to get that big tight end. Yeah, it would be great. They need another weapon offensively, whether it's a tight end or whether it's a wide receiver. I mean, either or, they need to find somebody. Because I guess I'd be fine with Paris Campbell starting inside, and maybe they could start to put Britton Covey. Apparently, there are rumors on there are rumors right now on a extension for Britton Covey. They want to keep him in here long term, so probably won't be expensive. But there are talks for maybe Britton Covey could get into this offense a little bit as a gadget type third down wide receiver or something like that. If that's the way they want to go, that's the direction they want to go. See. Duo says above average D, elite offenses. I could agree with that. I would love to see corner first round and go O-line and linebacker in the second and third. Yeah, I would love for them to go corner first round, offensive line, linebacker. I'm interested to see if they add another body. They should. Happens with that. Johnson, Joe, I'm scared we're never going to find the successor for Goedert. We had one for all tight ends prior, which is why I'm so confused why they're not going after one. I'll give it time. They might. With Dallas Goedert being 28 years old now with a couple more years, I mean, on his contract, and just always missing too much time and not having someone reliable behind him, it's tough not to draft somebody. How many years does the Eagles pay Hurts? Till 20. What's his contract? 26 or 27? 26, I think, is his last year. I think. My PC seeing Hurts and Saquon practice together already makes me run through a brick wall. No, I know, dude. Always that they always get that picture. Jalen Hurts always put that picture up of like him and like a top guy that they just get like stare at each other, which is pretty cool. He did like the same thing with AJ Brown last year, Yeah, Xavier Legette would be great because I think he, if AJ Brown, if AJ Brown doesn't get a long-term deal, which I don't think he's going to unless it's dirt cheap, I don't know if we're going to be able to work it out. We'll find out. We'll see what happens. But we'll see. You're keeping DeVonta Smith in the building for years. I mean, that's what you're doing. You're keeping DeVonta Smith here because DeVonta Smith, he's your homegrown talent. He's drafted in Philadelphia. That's the guy you want to keep in the building, or anything else. Ray says trade first round pick for high second and a third. We need to get a pick in the third round or trade up to get into the. I don't know if they want to. I don't know if they're going to trade their first rounder. I mean, if they feel like somebody's going to drop, or maybe there's still a lot of players on the board, or maybe the board hasn't gone their way, they could trade back and get another third round pick. They don't have a third round pick, so I get that. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they could trade back and get a third round pick. I would like to get an extra third rounder. They could do that. They'll say, "Oh shoot, we need to build a super quick before." Well, we're paying Hurts right now, dude, and the contract's not bad. Bruce said, no one out there in free agency in terms of edge rusher help. The Eagles traded the draft one. Yeah. There's nobody out. There's nobody left. Yeah, there's nobody. I don't think there's anybody out there. I don't know who's left out there right now regarding edge rusher. Not much. I don't think there's anybody left. Trading for a guy and like maybe trade for a rotational guy, they could do that. But I'm looking for from going into this draft an edge rusher, and I don't think. I mean, it's making it look obvious they might go edge rusher in the first round, maybe. Latu. They're going Dallas Turner or Jared, first. One of those three guys they're obviously going after. Jason says Eagles are going to move up and take a cornerback. I hope they do, but it's hard for me to say they're going to because if it's not DeJean, I don't see them going after anybody else because that outside spot's already taken. You know? Files said, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking that they might go after the Georgia Bulldog tight end, him and Goedert on the field at the same time with AJ and Smitty. Wow, fly goes fly. I know. Brock Bowers is a totally, it's a tight end move, and it might not seem like an exciting move, but that man is going to be a big time player in the NFL. For his size at 6'3", 240. I mean, it's nuts. And the break of his routes, the separation he gets, and he loves contact, and he's a bruiser because he can take some hits, get some extra yards. Just athletically sound. Could be your future number one. You got your future number one right in the building. Really? I'm telling you, I'd love that move. I think that move Kellen Moore would have fun with that. He loves tight ends, but just imagine now you could throw Bowers on the field at the same time with everybody else. But we'll see though. Donnie says, Joey, imagine we somehow ended up with Cooper DeJean, Cooper Beebe, and Edgar and Cooper would be crazy. Yeah, it'd be a good draft, man. Cooper is going to be interesting, dude. Like I feel like he just fits here so well. I know they brought him in for a pre-draft visit, which is good. So they already have him already on the list right now, and it's a good sign at least if they're gonna. Yeah, Darius Robinson is another guy I would draft as well. Probably, the last person I want to draft is Chop Robinson. I don't want Chop. I don't want Chop here. I don't. And I understand why people are really down on Chop because statistically, it wasn't good. I mean, he just hasn't done enough. Not even 20 tackles for the year. For sacks? I mean, at least Jared Verse had 2 back-to-back 9 sack seasons. Chop Robinson had a good combine. He had a monster combine, but sorry, but combine's not good enough for me. Greg Bryan said, I love to select Bowers. He said he models physicality after Gronk's game. We need that in Philly. Yeah, we really do. He said the Eagles got Bowers. I'd get a boner. That would make the Eagles arguably the best offense in the NFC, even though we don't like everyone's saying we need cornerback bad because everyone is going off of how Slay played last year and Bradberry played last year, and they didn't play good. But nobody played good last year. But under Fangio, Slay played better, and Bradberry played better. And I don't like Bradberry, but he did play better under Vic Fangio when he was a consultant here. So if you have a pass rush, and I think it shouldn't be bad, but I don't know. I'm kind of on and off about it because I've seen what these corners can do when they're playing at their best with pressure. And they could, the defensive line, pressure from a defensive line helps at your corners. Coverage sacks are fantastic too. But to me, it just doesn't seem like corner is going to be the number one pick in this draft. It just doesn't. You're drafting. You're like, what's going? I mean, seriously, if they were gonna, they would have already let Bradberry go out there and go look for a team already. At this point, they would have already done it by now. If they wanted, they wouldn't wait till after the draft to cut Bradberry. It makes no sense. They haven't designated him, and they wouldn't. They respect Bradberry. They respect him. If they respect Avonte Maddox, they let him go out there and go look for a team. I'm sorry, but I just don't feel like they're moving. It doesn't make me believe a cornerback's coming to Philadelphia, unless it's DeJean because he could go right into the nickel spot right now. It just makes no sense to draft any of these other guys. I think DeJean is the only reason why they're drafting him is because he's a good player, but he's more hybrid because they can throw him in anywhere they want. I'm just saying. Yeah, DeJean is a corner. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he's a hybrid guy. He can play inside and outside. That's what I'm saying. I feel like DeJean is the only guy they want to draft because he can move everywhere. And they can just put him in any spot that they want. They can put him on the inside as they want. They don't even have a nickel corner right now. They don't. Tyler Hall is, I think, I don't know, he's the best guy they have right now. I'm not sure. I mean, Jack McPherson's coming off an ACL. Avonte Maddox isn't even signed to any other team yet. He said, I watched 2 hours of film early this morning, and I became an instant fan of his. He is going to be phenomenal. I believe it, dude. Jason, shit, we should have we have the cornerback we got from the Colts. Yeah, we have Isaiah Rodgers too. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I feel like they're gonna have a good cornerback competition if it is gonna be a competition for the number 2 spot. But Bradberry's not moved yet. And if they're not gonna just move him after the draft and just say, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna move you now." I don't think they'll do that to him. I think if they were gonna move him or they had a plan on doing something for him to go out and look for a team, they would have already done it by now if they were getting rid of Bradberry. To me, it makes no sense. And Isaiah Rodgers was a really good cornerback a couple years ago. The only thing about Isaiah Rodgers is that he hasn't played in a year. Other than that, I don't think that's going to be a problem. He's been working his tail off this whole offseason, making sure he's still in tip-top shape. You have Eli Ricks. You have Keely Ringo. I mean, you got bodies back there. I don't believe they're drafting a corner in the first round, unless it's DeJean is the only reason they're going after him because of his because he's a hybrid player. Goggles at this point, why not trade back maybe a late first and a third, early second and early third first pick to get a top cornerback available, and then get Adrian Cooper, get an offensive lineman with the next pick, then get an edge. Yeah, I mean they still got to get it. I think that would work maybe. They can move a little bit. They can trade back into like the late first if they want, and garnish some more picks in the third round and go after. We'll see. Yeah, I heard his name a lot, Max Mellon. I know Christian Parker went down and went to his pro day. How many sacks did Micah Parsons have in his college? I have no idea. Once the fans don't realize slot corner is hard to play than being on the outside. That's why offenses put their best receiver because best cornerbacks won't follow them there. Yeah, that is true. I think Maddox has been very underrated in his career, but the guy just can't stay healthy. Unfortunate. Dal likes the center from Oregon. Yeah, he likes the center from I forgot, Washington, I think. Fantanu, whatever his name is. He's another late first round projection. Likes a lot of these guys. James says those who say to waste the first on a line when technically we could roll with this line just aren't thinking. You don't draft someone in the first who Yeah, I mean, you can't afford to redshirt anybody this year. That's the only issue I have. The only offensive lineman you could get is Jackson Powers. The only guy you can really get in the first round that makes sense, that could start right now and be ready right now. Johnson, have you seen videos of Jackson Powers Johnson? Yeah, I mean, he's the most NFL pro ready lineman in this draft. I mean, he's way ahead of everybody else. Like, and he's only going to get better. Athleticism, he's got. I mean, the way he could. I mean, he's got great leverage. He's God. I mean, nasty. He's got an edge to him. He's got really good hands. His pulling's really nice. Boxes out guys real nicely with some of these blocks. He fucking pancakes everybody. He's watch some of what he does, and amazing. Ryan says, "What about trading our 25 first, trade up for Bowers, keep our 24 first rounder plus?" I don't think you have to trade. I mean, I don't think you have to trade a 25 first round pick. Like, how far are you trying to move up though? Like, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know. Bowers could probably be a top 15 pick. Top 10, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure if he's top 10. He could go top 10, but he might go outside top 10, but I don't think you have to give up you have to give up a first round pick just to move up. No. I don't think you have to do that. Sure, the Eagles have 2 second round picks. The Eagles have 3 fifth round picks this year. So, got to keep that under your belt as well. Brown says, "Man, I would love to move up with Jared Verse. I don't see him getting past Chicago or Atlanta, and both those teams are top 10. Yeah, and they need edge rushers badly. Jared Verse, I think the number one thing with Jared Verse is his motor, because that man he's got probably the best out of all the defensive ends, and it's really tough because I think Latu is very good at it too, but I think Jared Verse is the most physical, probably the best pass rusher, edge rusher in this draft. And when it comes to just pass rushing, I think he's the best at it. It's hard to turn the cheek on him, no doubt. I have Latu and Jared Verse almost right there, but I think Jared Verse, when it comes to his pass rush, he's the more physical player than Latu. But Latu though is he's a finesse type guy. He's got a lot more technique, where Jared Verse has got more violent bull rush. Like, Jared Verse is nice. I ain't gonna lie. Almost impossible to replace. Cox and Reddick is crazy. Everyone's taking it into account with their numbers. Fletcher Cox, like, he was a good rotational guy for us. Reddick, yes, you have the sack numbers, but you have the sack numbers. Look, at the end of the day, they need, and I'm just not starting to see it, but I get why they need to go with more of a scheme fit. We need more of a scheme fit defensive end that's more of a off ball coverage guy and a guy that can play on the line, because we need a guy that's not going to disappear out of games too, because Reddick is another guy that gets you the numbers, but he definitely disappears out of some games. Like, in a whole month and 4 weeks, he might not even get a sack. And then the next month he'll get 7. Like, he's very streaky. That's the issue with Reddick. He's just really streaky, but he's got his numbers. That's what it comes down to. They need a guy that's just more productive every game. He might not give you the numbers that Reddick's getting. I'd rather our secondary be better than our defensive line, to be honest with you, and make more plays and get more turnovers. But obviously, you do want your defensive line to get pressure to help out your secondary and cause some turnovers and be disruptive in the backfield. So I think there's a lot more to it than that, but they need a more consistent. They're going to get a more consistent Fangio scheme type guy in this defense that's going to produce a little bit more every game. Might not give you the same statistics, but is going to make the tackles that he needs to make, is going to be disruptive. I'd rather a guy be more disruptive than have the numbers, just because at least if the guy is disruptive, other guys will make plays off of that. So, it goes both ways, dude. But at 30 years old, Howard Eskin said it on radio that he has inside sourcing that he got paid over $20 million. If that's the case, the Eagles weren't paying that. I don't think Reddick wanted to go anywhere either. It sounded really from his Jets press conference. He sounded, he's going to say nice things about the Jets and this and that, and the defense looks good. And I don't think he wanted to leave Philadelphia. And he said the question wasn't how much I had left in the tank. It was just a business decision, and that was it. So I don't think it came down to the Eagles not wanting Reddick or Reddick not wanting to come back. I think it just came down to the money. And the Eagles were just like, no. I think that's where it came down to. He says Bauer's going to go top 12, 15, maybe even earlier draft day is crazy. It's going to go nuts, man. And guys, who knows? Howie Roseman might trade for a hybrid defensive end, off-ball linebacker. He might trade for one. Howie Roseman gives up. If Reddick really wanted out and said, look, if you're not paying me this, I'm done, I'm out, then they really been trying to trade him for weeks, and they haven't gotten it. No one's going to pay somebody over $20 million and give you a high draft pick. L'Jarius Sneed got traded, got a big contract from Tennessee, but they only gave up a 24 third rounder. Or a 25 third rounder, sorry. Teams are starting to be more smart now where, if you're going to trade for a player you have to pay a shit ton of money to, you're not giving up high draft capital for a player. Because you already got to pay him. They're not doing that anymore. Would the Eagles go after Mr. Jax Powers Johnson? Would they have to move up? They'd have to really move up. I don't know where he's going to end up. I have to look at some of these rosters, but he could be a top 12 pick. They have to move up pretty damn quick. Get him. Ray says Bauer's definitely going top 10. He's the best player in this whole class. Get it. Honestly, I think the best players in this class, besides quarterback, I think it is Bowers and fucking Jackson. I think it's Bowers and Powers. I think those are the top two players in this draft. I honestly do. Marvin Harrison Jr. I think those are your top three in this draft, unless I'm wrong. Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Powers, and Brock Bowers. I think those are your three guys. Don said if the Eagles were hell-bent on getting Jackson Powers Johnson, they could use another second to move up back in the first and probably get him. I think they use all their top 3 picks, though. I don't think it's going to take 3 picks, no. It might take 2 and maybe a mid-rounder, maybe. But I don't think it's going to take all 3, no. Ayo says, I saw the tweet, take it for what it's worth. The Oregon Center might slip into the second and team aren't as hot. It could be a bunch of smoke. I don't know. That's what, that's what, I always hear that. You see a tweet like that every year, oh, it seems like people aren't high on him. We heard that about Jalen Carter. We heard the same thing about Jalen Carter as well. But I thought Jalen Carter was going to go to Seattle at 5, 6. I forgot what pick they had last year. I know what pick the Eagles had last year. They had 10. They moved up to 9. I'm going to be really picky if Reddick plays under his $14.5 million with the Jets, though, and win for us. Yeah, I think that would piss me off more. So, I mean, Eskin said this deal is going to be over 20 million. If he heard inside sources of it, I could probably believe it. The deal has not been signed yet. So, if he plays under his contract now, then that's really bad. Honestly, though, O-line depth in this draft is insane. Cooper Beebe is still very, very good. They can get him on day 2. Johnson, I want Howie away from the draft room because I'm concerned about this draft. Because I mean, I think Howie's going to be fine. I think Howie's going to get the players that we need. I don't see why not. I think you at least need 2 starters from the draft. I mean, potentially they should have 3 starters in this draft. See, only time will tell. Only time will tell. We have 228 in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Make sure you like the stream up. It does help out the channel tremendously. Definitely check out in the pinned comment above for the memberships for extra draft content. We have draft content every single day in the memberships as well. So definitely check all of that out. Appreciate it so much. Doesn't matter what tier it is. Any tier gives you all the content possible. So I thank you so much, everybody, for supporting. And to let everybody know what's going on for the draft in general, yes, me and Philly 500 will be streaming from both channels. We'll be streaming 3 days straight, having fun and doing our thing as usual, like we do every single year. And we'll have obviously reaction videos and all that type of stuff, the draft picks and all that crazy stuff. So I feel good. Ready to go. What's going on, Anthony? Nice. Yep, the draft would be Cooper DeJean, Cooper Beebe, and a D. He says, I honestly hope we don't go O-line first round. Stout could probably turn me into let alone a second and third rounder. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like if they're not reaching for Jackson Powers, then they don't have to reach that far. I mean, they could just go. Jonathan, my concern, Joe, is that Roseman has to hit on this draft the next year's draft because last year he did good, but he knows that this has to be the thing where he knows. Well, yeah, you always have to hit on a draft every year, yeah. The more you hit on a draft, the less money you have to spend in free agency. The more you hit on these drafts, the more flexibility you'll have with contracts, and the more, like I said, the more cap you'll have. The more you can go out for free agents, every year if that's what you want to do. We're already getting $14.5 million for next year. So the Eagles still literally have $30+ million this year to do whatever they want. We need $5 million for the draft, 6. They don't need much for the draft. So Eagles still have some cap space left. And I think they only really need cap space really for draft signings. I think one signing at least, if it's a safety, if it's Justin Simmons or something like that, unless they have a trade, if he has a trade up his sleeve on draft day for some weird reason, we'll see. J Smooth 979 says, will you and Philly be live streaming any games? Games this year? Probably not. No. We don't really do games together. He does his thing and I do my thing on usually on game day. Because really, like, we do a shakedown Saturday night on a typical week. We do a shakedown the night before a game. Then we do a post game together. So, I mean, you see us a good amount together on the weekend, every weekend. Also, I'm telling you, I see Haason only play 1 year and coming back to Philly next year on a new deal. We're going to find out. I mean, if he's on contract for a few years at 12 or 20-something million a year, but there's no contract signed yet. That's the problem I have right now. There's no contract that's even signed. See here. When are they announcing the Brazil game? I'm hoping soon. I mean, they've already announced that Brazil. I mean, they just haven't announced the opponent. Browns and Green Bay? Browns and Steelers. I forgot. I know Browns are involved. Joe Santos says Jalen Carter might go off this year, then though, and save. Well, I think Jalen Carter is going to be great. Jalen Carter is going to be a monstrous. I'm not worried about Jalen Carter. My highest defensive player is Peyton Wilson. 6'4", crazy speed. Yeah, I mean, I think the number one issue with him is durability. I think injury issues and stuff like that. But no, I just did a video on him the other day. I like his play a lot. And guy is, and sometimes he's really patient. Like he's really patient at the line, and sheds blocks real good. Physical player. Athletic ability is off the charts. No. Diego Stephanie Crow Killer says, looking forward to spending the draft with you in Philly. Oh, dude, we're excited too, man. We're very pumped for it. Very excited, very pumped for it. Because I just want the draft to be here. I said, this wide receiver class is insane too, Joey. No joke. We could find a good. Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I think within the first three, 4 rounds, they can get a receiver, no doubt. Like, I think there's a lot of talent there, but it depends if you're looking for a future. If you're looking for a future number one guy, or you're looking for somebody else that's going to be a pure wide receiver 3, I think there's plenty of them in this draft. So I think they have a pick of the litter, really, even after the first round. It doesn't matter. John said, yeah, I agree with Joey. I want at least to draft a player that's going to make an impact. Yeah, I mean, they drafted impact players. Like, I just want a couple good ones this year, and that's it. Cover some spots that were kind of weak right now and call it a day. And after you go out, you go sign some undrafted free agents that you think, that didn't get drafted, that have a high chance of maybe making the roster or, could surprise you at camp. And then, go sign some, any guys that are still available, free agency wise, you go sign some guys that are, 1-year deals, cheap 1-year deals for depth and stuff like that. They want to. Here, just said there's no problem if a contract is not signed now because Reddick wasn't going to play here if the Eagles didn't want to pay him what he wanted, and he was there playing for 2 years and not. Well, so you're saying what? That he's playing with the Jets because they're going to give him a contract after this year. So why wouldn't he play with the Eagles for 1 more year? So if he plays if he plays at $14.5 million for the year with no contract extension and waits to get the contract extension next year, does that even make any sense? I mean, it just makes no sense. So I don't know. It doesn't. I'm not saying like where's the contract, but yeah, where's the contract? That I want to see what these numbers are, and if Howard Eskin already said this deal is over $20 million, then yeah, the deal is gonna have to get done. That they're working on a deal sooner. I mean, I saw the news that they are working on a deal. It just the numbers haven't come out yet, or the deal hasn't been done yet. So. You want edge or DB first round? It's like a fan base is 50 because they're not. The problem is that cornerback is filled right now. The problem right now, unless it's Cooper DeJean, that's the only hybrid player that they could get in this draft that's realistically good for their defense for this scheme. It just makes no sense to me. If they were to cut Bradberry or try to extend him and cut him and spread out that dead cap, they would have already done it by now. I think Bradberry's going to be here. They're high on Isaiah Rodgers. Lurie even said, we have plans for Isaiah Rodgers for the future. Like, they have plans for him. So, for me, it really shouldn't be 50-50 because they haven't done nothing. Slay's not going anywhere, and if Bradberry's still in the roster right now, if they wanted Bradberry gone, they would have got rid of him early. This way he can go look for a team. They're not going to screw him over until after the draft and just cut him. I mean, if the you know what I mean, like he's gonna be here. I mean, he might not, but I that's the writing's on the wall. For me to say, why would they go after cornerback if they haven't made a move? You're not drafting a guy in the first round to play nickel, so you signed a nickel, you got rid of Avonte Maddox, you signed Tyler Hall. It's not good enough, no, because I don't know if Tyler Hall is a low risk, high reward type move. He's been successful in his career with limited snaps at nickel. He's played a lot of nickel in his career. And he's young. This roster's very young. But nothing's telling me that they're drafting a corner in the first round. To me, it makes no sense. From how their roster is right now, it makes no sense. Lane says, what's going on, Lane? Says, hey, Joe, I thought to stop by and say hello. Just found time. Yes, can't wait for the draft. See what you and Philly think. Oh, yeah, we're pumped. We're pumped. We'll be streaming together all 3 days. Make sure you keep both streams open and support both the channels. I appreciate it so much. John says, who are the other centers I think this draft could be started? I have no idea. He's the only one I've heard of that's usually like with centers in every draft, you don't hear a lot of them are good. Okay, when you have that one guy that's good, that's the guy you're going after, But, you could get a guy down the road, sure, at producing him. But if you're going to get somebody down the road, you're looking. And Jeff Stoutland's offense, if you're not starting, you have to know two positions. That's Jeff Stoutland's whole rules of being a backup for the Eagles' offensive line. Okay, if you're not a starter, you have to know two positions and try to play them well. It's because he would look at it as the Eagles disrespecting him for 2 years of work here. He could fucking think that all he wants, dude. Like, we have our own shit. He got a 3-year contract, he outplayed it, and that's it. Like, he was still on contract this year. Okay? He came off a double-digit sack season, signed with the Eagles for less money. So, he signed the contract for 3 years. There's nothing wrong with him going out and seeking his number and getting. There's nothing wrong with him getting more money. I'm not against him getting more money, but he knows the Eagles situation. We have to respect his situation, and he's got to respect our situation. There's no disrespect, dude. We have a Super Bowl to fucking win, okay? And I'm sorry, but I'd rather sign DeVonta Smith to a long-term extension than sign Reddick to an over $20 million deal. It's just the truth. I would have rather restructured him, have him agree on the restructure, and just give him a shit ton of signing bonus money for the year and call it a day and just let him play it out. But he didn't want to do that. So this is where we're at right now. Goldman Ron says, I really think we should draft that Bauer at 22. He's literally this year version of Sam Laporta, run a double tie-in set with them. 2 nuts. Yeah. 13-man 12-man personnel will be fantastic. Even Bauer's and this is a guy that's and these tight ends you don't really see too often because he's really dominant. I mean, beyond crazy. I mean, look, it's everyone thinks at this point, everyone thinks like it's going to be cornerback, but I don't get how everyone's saying cornerback at this point. I honestly don't see them getting cornerback. I don't know why cornerback is like everybody feels so comfortable just getting cornerback. It makes absolutely no sense. Makes no sense. Joe says one of the top 3 edge guys are going to fall where we trade up, Verse or Latu. It's going to be a tough one, man. That Marshawn Nealon, that's another guy that they want on day 2, another edge rusher that could play off-ball coverage as well. They want to get a guy that actually can play off-ball coverage, not a guy with sack numbers that can be in coverage and not produce. Like that's the difference between Reddick and some of these other guys. So do you want a guy that just gets sack numbers, you know, whether he disappears 1 month or shows up, or do you want a guy that's productive every single game? You know, that's how the Eagles are looking at it. And, you know, Reddick's 30 years old. So I get it. Going to be 30. Johnson, I don't think Haason is going to play all 17 games at MetLife turf. I thought everyone was saying they wouldn't sign him for 25. Now it's 20. It's apparently over 20. We don't know the exact number, but Howard Eskin said over 20. Doesn't matter. It's still a lot of money. 20 plus, 25 plus. The original was 25 plus million. It was 25 million a year. The original report that came out like a week or 2 weeks ago, that's what the report was. Could have went down. He says safety maybe, but cornerback no. Yeah, I mean safety sure. I could see them drafting a safety more than a cornerback. That's how crazy it is. It's really not crazy. Like it's self-explanatory. I could be wrong. There we go. Julian Blackman is gone. There it is. Julian Blackman signs a 1-year deal with the Colts. Re-signs back with the Colts. Blackman comes off a career season with India, amassing 4 interceptions, 5 tackles for loss, and 8 pass breakups. There it is. There it is, my friends. He is off the board. Because I'd rather them draft O-lineman and start him in the red shirt corner. We need guys that will play this year, not in the future. Bradberry's going to play our. I mean, it makes sense. Like it makes. I can't see them not. They have Isaiah Rodgers. Slay's not going anywhere. Bradberry would have been moved already. It's too late now. They would have already moved him if that was the move they wanted to make. They would. So now you're down to Justin Simmons, only one left at safety in free agency. I mean, there's probably other guys out there. Says we aren't going any more big names. I don't think Howard probably has full focus on the draft now. You can't say never when it comes to moves, especially when a guy hasn't even signed with any team. You know what I mean? Todd, I'd say people are mentioning cornerback not because they think we will draft them, rather than who they want. Well, yeah, I think I'm going by what the Eagles will do more than what I want. Yes, I would love for them to draft a corner in the first round, but realistically, it's not going to happen. Is cornerback my favorite position to draft in the first round? Is it my favorite player in the draft from cornerback? No. You know, just because I have my favorite player in the draft doesn't mean that realistically he should be going to the Eagles. But because you like the player so much, you just like the player. Steve said, well, I'm glad he didn't go to the 49ers because that is where he was going to go. Yeah, so he visited the Bills. So Blackman visited the Bills with no contract. He visited the Niners with no contract, and now he re-signed on a 1-year deal with the Colts. Joe Simmons will probably wait after the draft to see what teams still need a safety. Yeah, that's what a lot of these veteran guys do. Some of these veterans wait till after the draft to make sure that they'll have a guaranteed starting spot to see what some of these teams do look like after the draft. So it could be Simmons could be a post draft signing, you know. People say Simmons makes the most sense because of the camaraderie he has with the Vic, but they draft the safety. Oh no, I mean they're still going to have plenty of bodies at safety. They'll probably draft another guy. I wouldn't say they would draft a guy in the first couple of rounds, but they might draft somebody in the mid round maybe. Also, you explained our corner position perfect and why I don't see it either. Not the first round anyway. We have a beast out there where we are shorthanded. All line, DL, and my personal favorite tight end, Georgia Monster. They're filled up at cornerback. They're filled. Unless I don't know if they have a plan at nickel or they're going to put Isaiah Simmons on the inside. Because I know he doesn't mind playing on the inside. So, they have Tyler Hall now. So, I don't know. I'm sorry, but when you have Bradberry, Isaiah Simmons, Slay is already a lock. Sorry, but if Bradberry wasn't here, they already cut him, or he was if he was he was designated for a post June 1st cut, then I would say that it is realistic they could sign a corner in the first round. I just happening. Anyway, what part of the offensive line do you think we should target in the first of the draft? To replace the hole at guard or left lane's replacement? I think they're going to get a tackle in this draft. Right tackle, I think they'll go after, or a guy that can play two positions. So I think it'll be a tackle. So we should sign Isaiah Simmons on a cheap deal. Can rush any play. Oh no, I thought when the Giants traded for him, they got a really good bargain. I thought they got a really good bargain off of him, no doubt. 6th-round pick to trade for him, and obviously couldn't hold on to him. I think that was a good pickup for them. Julian Blackman is gone. So I can see Bradberry being a June 1st, but they won't do it. It's not. It would have already happened, or it would have happened, or it would be fucked up to do that to a player. Like wait and wait and wait, and then just cut him. And then most of these teams already have their teams already sorted out. They already have their positions already sorted out, and to cut him this late is just fucked up for our part because it kind of doing him dirty a little bit. They cut Avonte Maddox. They cut Avonte Maddox early out of respect. They didn't cut him. They could have saved more money with Avonte Maddox. Post June cut, they would have saved $7.1 million. But they didn't. They cut him immediately, and they saved $2 million. They saved less money out of it. Out of respect, they want him to go out and want him to go out, and go find a team. Steve says, I wish I could have not watched the film on Brock Bowers because now I want him so bad. He looks like the next big thing as far as tight end he is. Looking like it, bro. Looking like it. No doubt. I'm just, at this point, dude, like, it's not going to be cornerback. I think everybody should get cornerback out of their head in the first round. It's not going to be. Makes no sense. No indication that Bradberry is leaving this, at least for this. Unfortunately, that's where we're at. But we're coming down to the last bit for this stream for the day. We'll be streaming tomorrow, most likely, to talk more about some of the news that's coming out. We'll have a video out tomorrow. We'll have a membership video out tomorrow. Get those memberships you guys have. And we're going to call it a day. Updates for the rest of the week. Nothing much. Same old for the rest of the week. We're going to have the shakedown obviously on Saturday. Same old with that. We'll probably have the shakedown. I think Philly's going away, I think, in a couple weeks. He's got a little bit of vacation in a couple weeks. He'll be gone for a few days or a week. I forgot how long he's going to be gone, but I know the shakedown won't be on a Saturday there. I think we're moving it to like a Friday or something for that too. I think we're going to have the shakedown on a different day. And yeah, that's it. I mean, we have 20-something days left till the draft, and we're ready to go. We're ready to go, dude. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. So, but other than that, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Make sure you make sure you like the video, like the stream as well. It does help the channel tremendously. Appreciate all the support, appreciate all the super chats, all the great stuff today, and thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, we'll have videos on some of my stuff, some of my reactions of what we're doing. All right, you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Enjoy it. Shake Squad up, follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.